What is color to you? Color is what brings ideas to life. Color is sharing emotions with the world. Color is what captures the moment. For us, color is a combination of precise calculations and well-defined algorithms, uncompromising design and engineering, relentlessly refining our methods, and spending countless hours to perfect our product. For us, that is color. Every detail counts. Our promise is to give you the most color-critical monitor ever, and to vibrantly bring your vision to life. With your color, the true color.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vicente Lochschmidt, and I am the marketing manager for BenQ in Central and Eastern Europe. And it's my pleasure to welcome you today to this webinar about photographing animals and models by Jovana Rikalo. Jovana and I have been organizing this for quite some time now, and we're so excited to show this to you today. There's really a lot of really fantastic content, and I think you'll really love what we have prepared. Before we get started, I wanted to go over a couple of key details. The first of which being is that today's webinar will be recorded and will be sent to you afterwards. So you should be receiving a follow-up email tomorrow with all of with the recording, with all of the information. And the second bit of information is that all of you participants today will be receiving a small gift from BenQ, which is a 10% discount code on our AccuColor monitors. Now, as you probably saw now in the intro video, and for those of you who don't know, is that BenQ has two lines of monitors made for artists in mind. We have the TD line, which is for designers, and we have the SW line, which is for photographers. These monitors are built from the ground up to cater to artists' needs. If you've ever worked on something in Photoshop, Adobe Lightroom, or you've maybe been working on a project for a client or doing something for your own portfolio, you know that the most important aspect of your work is often the color. And if you've been working for a while in this industry, you also know that one of the big hurdles that you can come across sometimes is that you create something in a program on a certain monitor, you work on it for days, weeks, maybe even months, and then you see it reproduce on another monitor or when it's printed out, and the colors don't look right. Obviously, colors elicit a specific emotion depending on what we are trying to create with the art that we make. And the great thing is that about the AccuColor monitors is they're built with this technology in mind to assure that you have the most color accurate display possible when you're editing, when you're working, when you're creating. Jovana herself is a BenQ ambassador. I met Jovana about 4 years ago, and ever since then she's been using BenQ, and you can check out the reviews for yourself as well, not just from her, but from a lot of the other different incredible artists that we work with. And I really encourage you to not take our word for it. All of the reviews that you will see online for BenQ, we never send scripts or anything like that. There's always an understanding of having really transparency and honesty with all the people that we work with. And the reception that we always receive is really quite fantastic. And beyond the color accuracy, there are really a host of other different incredible features that are really catered for artists. If you're someone who works with black and white, if you're someone who works with CAD/CAM as an engineer, or you're someone that works a lot with animation. And yes, I'm getting a couple of notes here that the sound is not functioning for some people. If that's the case, there should be some settings within the control panel for you to set that. But moving on to Jovana herself. Jovana is from Serbia and is a BenQ ambassador, as I mentioned. And Jovana has over 220,000 followers on Instagram. And if you follow her, then you will see that it's really very well deserved. Jovana has this incredible portfolio of working with fantasy photography, with fairy tales. If you look at the amount of people that she's worked with, it is just incredible, the amount of different models and the amount of different experience she's accumulated over all the years. And if you know Jovana, that you also know how busy she is. She's always traveling, always having different things to do, always different projects to hand in. But you'll see that consistently she always hands in really a fantastic work and really very engaging work. And today's webinar is also so exciting because Jovana has such an incredible portfolio of working with animals and with models in the same photography, in the same work that she does. And so I think it's really going to be a fantastic session. And the very last thing that I will mention is that at the very end, we will have a Q&A section. So I'm sure that a lot of you will have a lot of questions. At the end of the webinar, you will be able to ask Jovana all of the questions that you have. With that being said, I'd like to call Jovana to the stage, and I wish everyone a fantastic webinar.
Thank you, Vicente, and thank you, everybody who attended this webinar. Wait a second. I'm so grateful for being on this webinar hosted by BenQ. Today we will have one very interesting topic. We will talk about animals, my favorite creatures. I already prepared for the webinar. I have the owl necklace. So today will be very interesting. But before we start, I would love to say a few words about myself first. So my name is Jovana Rikalo. I'm a fine art and portrait photographer based in Serbia. I love to tell stories with my photos. I'm inspired by nature, by life, by people. So I love to put these elements into my photos. So most of the time you will see a lot of fairy tale, magic, and surreal elements in my photos. My also favorite things to take photos are the animals. So I started 3 years ago taking photos of animals, and this is my favorite things because you actually can be prepared for this type of the photo shoot. I'm usually always prepared. I love to write down every element. I love to make some perfect before I go to the set, but with animals you can't do that. So that is why we are hosted today's webinar by BenQ. But before we start, I would love to say a few words and share with which animals I have photographed so far. So I have experience with ferrets. They're so amazing, they're so cute, they are little, they are very fast. When you're holding them, it is okay. But when you put them like on the grass or everywhere else, it's not easy to take photos because they are always in a move. So you just have to make a tons of photos just with one ferret. The next snakes. Snakes are good, but small snakes, because the big snakes, I'm afraid of the big snakes. You just have that type of emotion, but you are not scared and you're not loving the snake at the same time. Just you have some mixed emotions, and you don't have any emotion actually when you're taking photos of snake. It is so interesting thing, and to me, I love white, so this is why I love taking photos of white snakes. The next one is this type of the cat. I think the Sphinx is called, something like that. So these cats are really photogenic. They're so amazing. They're so cute. At first, when you see this type of the cat, you just, yeah, this is cat actually, but all cats looks like this without the hair. So you can use this cat like for more deep concept if you want to show connection, like me at this photo. Because the girl has vitiligo. This is why I use this cat, because it have the same dots on the body. Next is deer. So you probably hear most of the time during this webinar, my wish was to take photos of this animal, but it is really true, because my wish was to take photos with deer, and this was a baby deer. So, oh my God, I was the happiest. One man from my city found this deer in the forest, and he bring his home just to pet him, and he was very hungry. So he called me to say I have a baby deer. I was like, what? I have to go to take a few photos with them, and this whole photo shoot lasts around 20 minutes because you want to be stressful to the animal. The next is rabbits. So they're really cute, so they can fit to every concept. They're so adorable. Then the binturog. This animal was so interesting to me because I never see this animal before, and this was taken in a Belgrade zoo, so in Serbia. I couldn't take this animal out of in the nature or somewhere else because that animal stays there because it is a different breed. So it was a baby binturog, and I didn't know how to act with them. And there was that guy who was petting him while since he was a baby. So it was a whole new experience. Okay, so the owl, again, I'm saying my wish was to take photos of the owls. They are so interesting. They are so amazing. They're just look at them the whole day. You will feel impressed by these animals. They're really powerful. The next one, deer, but the older deer. So, but bunch of the field, I traveled to Slovenia to take photos of deers because there was one village. There is one village where you can find all deers. They're free. They have freedom there. They are in forests, so you can call them, pet them, and take a few photos. And then the deers again go in the forest. So it is a really cute thing, and everybody can visit this place. The next one is eagle. Oh my God, this wasn't easy because this eagle was really huge, and the model she has to wear the gloves because his how to say was very sharp, and he could hurt the model. So this is why she is wearing the gloves, and his wing was so big. He was flying a lot. So wow, this was also a very interesting photo shoot. And the parrots, of course, the birds and the horses. I love the parrots because you have different types of the colors, different breeds, different everything, and you can do so many stuff with the parrots. But we will talk more about it in the coming webinar. I just want to say that when you're taking photos with animals, you don't have only beautiful photos. You get the whole new experience, and you remember this for the rest of your lives because the moment you are looking at the animal, the moment you are working with them, when you feel their energy, when you're on a set, you forget where you are. Seriously, it is so amazing experience, and I recommend to every photographer to try. So today we will talk during this webinar. We will mention alpacas, white doves, horses, reindeer, and owls. So it will be very interesting, and I'm already so excited. So we will cover everything for animal selection and concept, finding the right location, how to work with the animal, model posing and communication, help with the photo shoot. And at the end of this presentation, I will answer your questions. So make sure to start your questions, even if you have now, so I can answer all of them at the end of this webinar. But before we start with the first animal, I will love you to answer the poll I'm having for you. So I would love to know what level are you at in photography? So are you a professional photographer? Are you a hobby, or you're just starting with photography? Because I think everybody is starting when you're a hobby. So you need around 1 year, 1.5 just to be a professional, just to find your style, just to see how you work with each element. So yeah, I'm really interested to hear what level are you at before we start. So I'm waiting for your answers. So let's see. It's a hobby. 600% it's a hobby, so 22 professional, and you're just starting. So this is a really great moment, because at this case you will learn a lot, and you can start even with animals when you're starting with photography. So this will be a very great concept. Okay, I'm really impressed. So well, let's start with the first animal, and it will be alpaca. Okay, so the alpaca photo shoot. The first, we are starting with animal selection and the concept. Why alpacas? I will again say my wish was to take photos of alpaca, but I didn't know where to find this animal. I knew only of llamas, but alpaca, it's smaller than llama, and it is like you can find in your country probably. In Serbia we don't have ones. And while I was in Germany, and when I was holding a workshop, one girl mentioned that we have alpacas in Germany, and I was amazed, because my wish was to take photos with alpacas, because they're so fluffy. They're like a bunch of a little cloud. They look like I found one farm, and they have two types, two colors. They have the white and the brown. I don't know if there is any other color, but I think these ones goes very well, because you can plan very easily with the concept. So thinking about the idea, when you're thinking about alpacas and the idea, so I think you just have to prepare yourself to take photos with portraits and the wide angle shots, because you have to always have the plan B. If the portraits doesn't work, all the wide angle shots, then you can take only portraits. To me, alpacas, I was connecting them with the dress. So I use the white dress for the white alpaca, and the orange dress for the brown alpaca. So here we have a connection in the colors, and to me this is so important when I'm planning the whole concept, because some connection has to be there, even if you want to pair with the hair, with the eyes, with the dress, with the nature, with the location. So some connection has to be present there. And because when you're working with animals, you just can't be prepared. You don't know how everything, you can plan, you can save some photos for inspiration, but when you come to set, when you meet the animal, when you see how everything is going, then you can plan, yes, I can do portraits, maybe I can do some moving shots and so on, but you just can't write down what will be happening on the set. Dress, choice, and location. Make sure when working with alpacas, they will probably go around the model and you just have to go with them, because you can't force the animal to go with you because they don't listen, they're animals. So you just have to be prepared to listen to the animal and not animal you. So when you're planning the dress, make sure to use some maybe easy material at the first photo shoot, maybe the short dress, because if you use the long dress, the alpaca will probably step on the dress and the model will fall down, or maybe she wants to go in forward, but alpaca doesn't let her go forward. So you will have probably troubles. Besides taking care of alpaca, you will have troubles with this. So make sure to think about the dress size, the dress color, and the material of the dress. Logistic and travel. This is also important because most of the farms where alpaca are located are probably around 1 to 3 hours away from your city. To make sure to plan all the time included. So the time before the photo shoot, the time on the photo shoot, and the time you go home after the photo shoot. So all this time planning has to be present, because maybe if you maybe you want to take photos at the sunset, and then you plan, yeah, I want to take photos at 6 p.m. Then you start at 5 p.m. Maybe you have a traffic on the way to alpacas and you start at 7 p.m. and you don't have a nice sunset. So make sure to always go earlier on location, and then you will have time just to prepare there, just to set everything, just to meet the animal, just to see if everything is going okay, and then you can start. So think about the travel. The next one is, yeah, here I posted before and after of these photos. So you will see how I removed the leash. So most of the animals have leash on before they will run away if they don't. So sometimes I find it very, very disturbing and doesn't go with the concept. So I usually remove them in Photoshop later. So finding the right location. Scouting locations. So when it comes to alpacas and when it comes to traveling to another country, it is always so important to meet the owners, to go to the farm, to see what is going on around the farm. So maybe you have there some beautiful location. Most of the time, people who have alpacas will recommend you locations because they are already going with alpacas out in the forest. They will know some beautiful corners. And in this case, you can listen to them because most of the time animals are really calm when they're walking the locations they already know, familiar locations, and not when they're going on some new locations, because in that way they will probably be very stressful. The next one is avoiding crowds. Most of the time, animals are very stressful when so many people are there, when they're hearing the cars, when lots of crowds are around them, so probably they'll be very scared. So make sure to choose locations where you have a silence, where everything only hear the nature, and where you have so many elements in the background. So taking photos near a farm, this is why I was talking about. Most of the times they have very beautiful locations near the farm or on the farm, because in the springtime or the fall, every location is beautiful. Make sure to choose this type of the season, because in fall you have beautiful leaves, in spring you have flowers, different colors, and you can choose only one tree to take photos with alpacas and everything will be beautiful. I think the worst time is during the winter, where you don't have a beautiful scenery, a beautiful background, but if you can't postpone the photo shoots, you can take during the winter, but portraits, for example. How to work with the animal. So the first thing is meet the animal. So this is the most important thing. Probably most people forget that because they are very excited taking photos with animals. They go on the set and the horses or alpacas or some other animals started running or be stressful, and that is happening because you didn't meet the animal. This means you just have to cuddle with them a few minutes or a couple of minutes, and just to see how their behavior is, and maybe try to not wear some vibrant colors of the shirts, or the blouse, because if they see a very colorful, maybe this would be too much for them. So maybe some calmer colors. Make sure to always be calm, because if you're not nervous, if you're stressful, then the animals can also feel that. So don't be stressful, because the owners are there. Owners has to be present. This is a must, because you don't know behavior, especially if this is a new animal like alpaca, like the snake, when you don't know how to act with these animals. Make sure to always, owner has to be there, just to owner explain what is stressful for them, what you can do, what you can't do. So in this case, you will get to know animal much more. So calming the animal. This means that when you're approaching to the animal, make sure to always make some beautiful sound like, oh, hi, or pet them, try to get close, but not at the beginning, because if you start, oh, hi, and then go all the way close to the animal probably will try to defend herself. So make sure to always start they will attack me at the beginning. So maybe this is not the right thing to say right now, but you just don't know how the animal will act at the end. So make sure to always have the most kindness approach to the animal. Food is always good. So when you bring food on the set, the animal will love you, every animal, because they have instinct. When the food is given to them, they know that they do something right. Every animal, like the chicken also. So make sure to bring food, because in this case you can put the food in the hand, and you can do this type of the poses when the animal is closer to the face, and in this case you can manipulate with the animal, and after you can give her a reward for a beautiful pose and a beautiful scenery. So preparing the concept in advance. Make sure to prepare every element in advance. That means that bring the piece of paper and write down all the poses, all the sceneries you want to take that day. That means I want like portraits when she's laying on alpaca's head. Then I want the portraits when she's throwing the dress, and then alpaca is going around the model. Then I want to bring a food for the model. I want to bring some snacks, the water. So as much as you're prepared on the set, the more successful photo shoot will be at the end. So make sure to think about each concept. Make sure to think about the animal. Make sure to think about model and assistance if you have one on the set. So the next one is model posing and communication. This is also important, because you don't take care only of the animal, you also take care of the model. So you just have to pair them together, and sometimes it is really hard, especially if you have rain, if you have a bad weather that day. You will just pray to God that everything will be okay at the end, and it can be very stressful. Explain the concept. So most of the time models can be very nervous when taking photos with animals, especially if this is a first animal of them. So first thing is explain the concept. That means that, hey, Ivana, I wanted to take photos with animals with you. We will take photos with a horse or alpaca. I want to create some wide angle shots when you're going to the animal, they're taking the leash, and then you are walking with them. Then I want to create some concept when the portraits with the animals, and I want like surprise face, I want the sad face. So make sure to explain as much as you need for that photo shoot to model, because in most of the cases model will act in front of the mirror. Maybe she will prepare some poses, maybe she will prepare some acting, and they will come prepared on the set. So this is important. Maybe she will recommend you some poses. This is also good if they know how to make the right poses. So this will be a very amazing. So always explain the concept, and not only bring model on the set, because in this type of the cases they'll say, okay, so what I have to do now with the horse? What you want me to do? This horse is huge. So make sure to explain the concept very easy. Choose the right pose. This means that you just have to listen to the animal. Some of the poses doesn't work with the concept. If you want to do like the poses very dramatic, this will be too much for the animal, because most of them they become very stressful. So for example, my latest photo shoot was with ballerina and a horse. And with this concept, I want to share the graceful moments between ballerina because she's a dancer and the horse because he was so big, glorious. And I want to create the power with these shots. And this is why I created some powerful poses. She was dancing in front of the horse. She uses that dramatic poses. So you just have to connect emotions and the animal. If you want to create maybe happy poses, but you use a lizard who is very slow, make sure to not do that because you will have contrast in your photos. Make sure to, in that case, choose maybe dog or somebody who can be happy as well on the set. This is what I was talking about. Be prepared. So be prepared for every that can happen on the set. I'm always praying that everything will be good at the end, that nobody is getting hurt. We are meeting the animal, we are talking with all owners. So we just can prepare maximum, but you know, be prepared means that model must meet the animal, must be prepared, and she has to know that this is animal. So this is okay. Familiarity with animals. So when it comes to models, most of them didn't work with animals. And when you bring them on the set, you see that there is a lack of connection. So if you know that some models love animals and they would love to work with them, and bring that type of the models, because when you see how they love animals, they will go very easily with the concept. If you bring somebody who never be with the animal or who doesn't like animal, yeah, I'm still impressed that some people doesn't like the animals. To me, this is unacceptable. But we are different, everybody of us. So make sure to bring the models who has familiarity with animals, because this will be easier for you. And the model, which poses to avoid? Any stressful poses, like not yelling, like, I'm going, yeah, oh, okay, then jumping, because this will be, the animal will probably go away. Make sure to think about the right connection. Happy, sad emotions, then maybe in this case, if you want to bring sad emotions, make animals still. Don't make run away, because this will be dramatic. This will be different emotion you want for your concept. So poses also where you are stressing the animal, when maybe you are on the animal and maybe you are dancing, because this doesn't go with the set together. So make sure to always think about slow emotions, but in a right way, like the usage of the hands, of the body, and that's it at the beginning. And later you will see how everything is going. Take breaks. So this is also important, because when taking breaks, then the animal can rest and the model can rest, because if the photo shoot lasts too long, this will be too stressful for the animal. Every time when I'm working with animals, it takes around 1 hour to finish, because this is a time which animal can take for photo shoot. Everything that lasts more than 1 hour, it will be too stressful for them, and they will be tired, they will be probably nervous. So you don't want to stress the animals in this case. So make sure to prepare everything before you go to the set, and then make the photos. So one pose for one scene. If you want the portrait, so think about one emotion, then the second emotion, the second pose with the animal, and so on. When you're working with animals, you need help. So bring many people. If you bring only one people, this will be not like too much. Bring 2 or 3 people. This means every time when I work with animals like alpacas, there were 3 or 4 people, because there were 2 alpacas and they were taking care of each alpaca. One person should bring alpaca on the leash, then the second one just have to pay attention, or hey, look here, look there. The third person will give him the food. The fourth person will put the animal in the right pose. So you need as many help as possible, because you don't know how to work with alpacas. You don't know how to place them. You don't know their behavior. So this is why the owners should be there on the whole set, for the whole time. One for the set, another for the animal. This means you don't have to care only about the animals. You just have to care of the model and all the things you have on the set, like who can throw a dress for you, who can fix the dress, who can fix the hair, the model. So everyone has to be involved in the concept and with the animal. So one assistant for each action. This is what I was talking about. So one assistant has to take care of the model. The other one has to take care of alpaca. If you have more than one alpacas, then the one more person should take care of the second alpaca, and so on. So make sure to, if you don't have an assistant, you can ask your friends, because this will be very interesting to them. If you have a child in your family or your niece, this will be also, they can also be a helper, because they're amazed, the kids are amazed by the animals, and they will probably help you on the set, or you can ask your family member or a friend. The scene and set. So when you think about the help, and you want to expand, like the more decoration, the more scenes, scenography, then you have to think about one more help, and this is a decorator or florist if you want to use the flowers, or a prop maker if you want to make some very interesting prop for this photo shoot. So this is also great, because when you do this photo shoot with so many helps, the one who can care of the alpaca, the second one assistant, the third one who can decorate the set, then you're all collaborating together, and then you will have amazing photos to share with your followers, with your on your social media. In this case, you are bringing not only your followers, you're bringing all of their followers to you, and you are sharing connections, you are sharing your photos to the world in this type. So I will now share you a video, because everything we talk now about the alpaca, I want to share in a video, like it was on the set. So let's see. Okay, so here you can see the owners bringing the alpacas to the set, and the most cutest alpacas, two of them, white and brown. So they're bringing the food also. And here, as you can see, here I tell the owner how I want to place the alpaca. So the model is standing in this orange dress. She's a ginger, so she has a really great connection with this alpaca already with the colors. So I wanted to bring alpaca next to her, because I wanted that pose. And here I talked to him and show what type of the pose I want. And he's bringing the animal to the model. So sometimes the alpacas are very stubborn. So as you can see now, sometimes she doesn't want to stay. Okay, you see here, they're always moving. So make sure to put the shutter speed from 500 and up, because they're always moving. Here we choose this open field because it was near the farm, and everything was beautiful to me, because I wanted the whole focus to be on alpaca and the model. Okay, so here we are bringing the second alpaca with the white one. The white is so interesting because you can pair with the black model, you can pair with albino, so it is so interesting concept. If you ever take photos with alpacas, make sure to send me the photos, because I would love to see that. Here I choose the white dress because I want to pair them together, and this model is so familiar with animals. She loves them, she knows how to pose with them, and that is why I chose her for this photo shoot. She is so great in posing. Okay, so now I want to ask you a poll, one more poll, and this is: have you worked with animals before? Yes, with animals and models combined. Yes, only with animals, and not yet. I would love to see your answers. I hope you are worked with animals. Okay, let's see. Let's see your answers. More than 40%, not yet. Oh, yeah, because this webinar then will be very useful to you. Okay, yes, with the animals and models combined, this is great. And the same percent, yes, only with animals. Wow. So now it's the time to work with the animals because you will now learn more about them. Okay, good. Now we will continue with another animal, and it is a white dove. I love them. Animal selection and concept. Why doves? Doves remember me of freedom. Doves remember me of innocence. So the white doves, it's so innocent to me, and they can pair to every concept. They can go with a deep concept. They can go with the easy concept. So every time you use dove, you get the right shot. And you can use more than one because most of them, they're very not too stressful if they're with more doves in the group. So if you bring only one dove, probably she will be very stressful. But if you bring more doves on the set, then it will be okay for them because they are in the group. Innocence and freedom, this is what I was talking about. So the colors of the dove, because we usually see pigeons and these are okay, but white doves are something so special, and every concept with them are so beautiful, and I connect this concept for them, but probably most of the time you will maybe connect some other emotion, but to me they're really special. Why birds are good for the concept? Because they are small, you can bring birds in to every location. They don't need any preparation, and you can use, but the most important thing is to not take photos too long, because you can take photos around 20 minutes and everything after that will be too stressful for them because they will probably fly and they will be tired. So every time I take photos of the animals, I don't hurt animals. Maybe some people think that we force animal. No, this is not acceptable to me. I don't love to force animal. To me, animal is in the first place and everything else on the second place. So I always take care of the animals on the set and they are not stressful. Okay, so when it comes to doves, yeah, here I have a photo when I was taking photos of the doves while they were flying. And the model, I created the pose for the model, which I wanted. And then in the post-production, I cropped the face because I didn't like the hands and the style of the dress in this pose. So I wanted only face. And then I put the dove later in Photoshop because I wanted to see how she's flying, and like she was flying out of her face to another direction. So find a direct location. When it comes to birds, when it comes to location and the birds, so inside is always, because if you bring the birds outside, they will probably fly away. Yes, you can try to put on the leash, but probably they will hurt, especially if their legs are too tiny. So make sure to take photos inside. So how I found the dove? So I follow one magician on Instagram, and he's from Serbia, and I knew that he's a magician, so probably he has doves and rabbits. So I asked him, and he said, yes, I have doves. Can you bring to the set? I want to make some photos. Yes, of course. So he will bring the doves. Then he explained me what is the right poses for them, how he can make them to fly, and also this dove can give you a high five, like you do this and it's like this. So when it comes to locations, inside locations are acceptable only if you have a studio, if you have a room, if you go to somewhere else, maybe some place closed space but with not so many people. Make sure to not take photos in the restaurants of the hotel or where you have so many people, because in this case they will fly away around above the people's heads, so you don't want to do that. Tips for a photo shoot. So when it comes to doves, make sure to prepare for the concept. This means you have to bring all elements, equipment you need on the set. Because doves flying, there will be a lots of foliage, I think it's calling. So you just have to bring some bags to put around the model, because it will be so dirty after the photo shoot, because they will poop. So make sure to choose the right dress you want, because most of the time you will get the poop on the dress, on the face, or the hands. To me, it's not a problem. I can clean everything, the dress and the place, but maybe for some of you want to be prepared, or maybe if you rent a dress, make sure to not do this time, because you will have a nice decoration on the dress. So make sure to use maybe some easy material, or you can buy in a store and then place it on the photo shoot. Okay, the background. When taking photos of white doves, everything is about the background. So these photos I was taking in a studio. So I have some, I have gray color, black color, white and red for this backdrop, but you can use any. If you're taking photos of white doves, then you probably need maybe some contrast background, not white, because in this case, doves shouldn't be visible. So make sure to choose maybe gray or black background. In this case, you will see the whole contrast and it looks so powerful. You don't have to use paper backgrounds. You can use any material you want, especially if you want to take photos of the portraits. So if you take wide angle shots, then you have maybe more material, but in this case, you can combine a lot of different materials, like the easy material, like the tulle. You can put the dress as material. You can use a blanket as material. So you don't, it doesn't care. Any background can look good if it's in the right connection and in the right, if it's the contrast. Closing the windows. So yeah, when because most of the time I will play in the video after he pulls the dove and then he puts her flying, and then I make tons of photos. So while she is flying, make sure to close the windows, because in this case she will probably fly away out of the window, so you don't want to do that. So make sure to check that all windows are closed before you start taking photos. And all the doors, because if she's flying, she probably go another room, or make sure to leave it in this room you're having. How to work with the animal. Working with birds. So working with birds is so interesting, because you can choose a parrot, you can choose doves, you can choose owls. So they are so interesting because they are small. You can put them like on the shoulder, on the head. You can hold them, you can put down. So they're very calm, and yes, they fly, but this is so interesting for you and for your concept. And in this case, you can get so many beautiful shots, and then you can edit them in Photoshop later. So when working with birds is always a plus, because you can cut the wings after in Photoshop, you can make it larger, you can cover the one part of the face with the wings. So you can do so many things with the doves and the birds. When the alpacas, you can, because you can just cut the one part of the alpaca in Photoshop and then put in because it doesn't go together. Dress mess. This is what I was talking about. If you want to bring a large dress, then you probably will be lots of poops, and probably because most of the time when birds are standing on the shoulders, they will get red. So don't be nervous or stressful, because it always doesn't hurt. But because you're working with birds, it can happen because it is skin. So when you're thinking about the dress, make sure to think on some easy material, or you can buy any material in the store and then you can place around the model. In this case, this can look very good, but be prepared that everything will be in so many places. Buying everything you need. That means bring the material as a background you need, then bring the food also for the birds, but probably owner will bring the food, and make sure to bring some bag you can put under the model, because if the birds are pooping and if they are flying, so lots of dust will be, and when you put this bag, then you can easily pack this and throw it in the garbage. So make sure to think about all this stuff. Listening to the owner. Most of the time when I was starting working with animals, I wanted to create a bunch of poses and photos which I have in my mind, and I didn't ask myself, maybe animals can't do this pose. I was like, yes, everything will be okay. So I want animal to stand like this, I want model to stand like this. And at the end, it wasn't possible because most of the poses doesn't work with animals and they don't listen, so you just can't force them. So when the owner is telling you, you have to do this in this way and nothing else, you just have to listen to them because they know the animal, they are working with them so many times, and yeah, so you just can't do most of the time some of your poses, but later you can do in Photoshop. Make sure to always make some extra photos while you are taking photos, like the birds, separate photos, the birds flying, close up of the birds, the model's hand, because later you can edit these parts in the Photoshop. Okay, so the next, model posing and communication. Meeting the model and animal. This means like the alpaca. So model must come to the set, model has to meet the animal, especially in this case, birds are very interesting to do and they're very calm. So most of the time they just can't only put the bird on the finger and then they can cuddle a little bit and that's it for a couple of minutes just to see birds that everything is okay. So to not be stressful for them. Overcoming fears. I had one model on the set who was very afraid of the birds, like I will die now, and of the horses and the bugs, and I didn't know that. She didn't tell me. So when she came to the set, she was like, oh no, I just can't do that. At first she said yes, she can, but after it was too stressful. So if the model doesn't feel comfortable taking photos, make sure to always mention that to the photographer. It is so useful because the concept is important to you and to everything be okay at the end. And overcoming fears means that you just have to accept. Don't be nervous, don't have a fear because everything will be okay. If it's too stressful for you, then it's not the right thing for you to do, because if you be stressful, it's not okay. Distance from the face. When working with birds, they can easily slap the wings to your face and the legs. So make sure to always not at the beginning close like this and look at the birds, because most of the time maybe she will punch you in the eye or something like that. Make sure to always start with this type of the poses when bird is on the hands or flying away, and then if you see it is okay, but on your own risk, make sure then to just a closer of the shoulder. And while the birds are on the shoulder, make sure to always make the head in the different direction, because in this case she can beat you here, but it's okay, but not in the eye. Make sure to always close the eye when you're close to the bird. Take breaks for the birds to rest. This is also very useful because for the birds, if they're flying, they are tired very fast. So make sure if you have more than one doves on the photo shoot, while the one is resting, make sure to use the second one. Then the second one is resting, make sure to use another one. So in this circle, if you use only one dove, make sure to always put like maybe take photos for 5-10 minutes and then rest for 5-10 minutes. So you just need poses for the doves and for the model. Some poses for bird photos. You can place birds wherever you want. So on the shoulders looks very good because it is close to the face and you see connection with the doves. On the hands is also useful because in this case you can put so many birds on the hand, and one hand and the other hand. So you can maybe use this type of hands and the doves are flying around. So every poses, because the doves are very graceful, this is the type of the poses you want, like the hands and the graceful and the portraits. And make sure to not always, again say this, make sure to not go close to the face. Okay, so the help on the set. Each bird requires a different approach. So for the owl, you have a different approach. For the parrots, you have a different approach. And for the doves, you have a different approach. Because you just have to meet every animal before the photo shoot. For the doves, they're flying, they're very calm, they have to rest. I didn't know that. The owner told me that when they're flying and maybe after a few minutes, this will be probably stressful, so they have to rest for the next flying. So I didn't know that, so this mentioned to me. So you just have to Google it or ask somebody who can explain this to you, like the owner. don't bring your pets. Especially if you're taking photos of the cats first and then you bring the dogs, because if you want the dogs to be calm on the set and they can smell the cat, forget about it, because the dogs are, where's the cat? I want cat. So yeah, think about this. Don't bring any animals on the set. If you bring dogs, your pet, and you have doves or flying, he will probably catch the dove. So make sure to not bring any other animal than you are taking photos on the set. This is also important. Cleaning the room. So when it comes to help, you have a help of the owner, and you will need a help for you who can clean the room afterwards, because it will be totally mess. It's okay when you're working with birds, everything is flying around you, everything, trust me. So you just have to be prepared that the whole room will be a full mess. So this is why I was talking about the bags. Make sure to put the bag in the whole room, and then you just have to put the bag together and go throw in the garbage. In this case, you don't have to clean anything. But if you have open floor without the bags, then we'll probably have to clean afterwards. Help for each scene. So this means you have to have an owner on the set who will explain the behavior, who can like put the flying doves around the model. Then you have somebody who can catch the dove afterwards while she was flying on the other side. Then somebody who can help you on the set by bringing you the whole props you need on that day. Then who can throw the hair, who can fix the dress, and who can maybe take videos for you on the set, because it is always useful to have a very amazing videos when working with animals. It is always gets so many impressions on social media, and people love to see animals on the set. Okay, so I will now put the video with dove. Let me show you. This one was so interesting. Here we have black background and white dove. So this is the owner, and this is how he's playing. She's putting the birds to fly. And yeah, she always, when she puts her fly, then she goes on the other side. It is okay for her, so don't think if everything is not okay or she's stressful, everything is okay, because I asked him a couple of times the same question: is everything okay with the dove? So here you can see so many birds on her back. So it is always great when working with doves. Okay, here I use the bench because I wanted to have the birds. I see connection with the nature, with the tree, with the forest. So that is why I use the branch and put behind the model, and I dyed it in the white because I want everything to be white here, because everything is about innocence to me here. Okay, so he is flying. One bird is on the shoulder, the second bird and the third bird was on the branch. So I was so happy. Every time I finish the photo shoots, I'm the happiest. So here we have a different pose and doves on the hands. We can also bring a cage. Everything reminded you of the doves you can bring on the set. Maybe the forest, maybe the case. Okay, here also. And make sure if you use branch, don't put the doves to stay long on this branch, because this is a tiny, so probably they don't have a good stand to be still. Okay, so here I'm explaining that I want on the up and I want the birds to fly. Yeah, like this. Okay, I'm always stressful when the doves are flying, because I don't want them to hurt or anything. Like, I'm always stressful. But this lasts around 5 minutes, so it's totally fine. They're okay. The owners say that. And the model must stand still all the time, because if they're moving, the birds then will also move. Okay, here I was filming. Yeah, this is the same photo I talked when I added the dove afterwards. Okay, so here is the dove video. And now I want to ask you a new pool. So what do you edit with your photos? So do you edit your photos on professional monitor, regular monitor, laptop or phone? Because it is, let me see your questions. And first, okay, most of you using the laptop. Yeah, to me, a laptop is okay when I'm traveling, but when I'm at home, I love to work on a PC, a big PC. So let's see your answers. Okay, laptop, then professional monitor and regular monitor, the same percentage, and then the phone. Okay, so if you want to do a photography professionally, so I think it's not okay to edit your photos on phone because it is so small and you can see the details. And yeah, to me, professional monitor is everything. I used a laptop before and I used a regular monitor, but to me, the best monitor is really BenQ. Like this is my, because I work on a BenQ monitor for 4 years. This is, at this moment, I'm using the SWV321C monitor from the BenQ. And I really love how are the same colors. Wait a second, just to share this PowerPoint with you, the slide, where you have a special, as a special thank you. BenQ is giving a 10% discount code for AQ color monitors, PD for designers and SWV for photographers. And here you have a barcode and it is valid until 15th of May. And you have a code here. So to me, this monitor is a lifesaver. It helps the whole, because the previous monitors, I have a problem. Every time when I save the photo, it is a different color when I look at the phone and when I send to the clients. So when I started working on SWV321C and the previous monitor, it was like the same completely on the set, like the same colors I see on location and I see on the monitor. It is like a live view mode to me. It's turning on all the time. What I love the most is the matte finish about this monitor, so I don't see any reflections. Most of the time I love working in the daylight, and every time I work on the older monitors, I see reflections and it kills me. Like I can see details, and with this monitor it has a matte finish, so it is so important to me that I don't see any reflections. The next thing I really love is the colors and the size. So I'm currently using a 22 inches monitor. It is a huge, like a TV, but it is so amazing because I can see every detail. It is so big, so you can see everything you're editing with, and also I can switch easily to from landscape to portrait mode. And when I edit wide angle shots, I use the landscape mode, and then when I want to edit the portrait, then I use the portrait mode. So you can easily switch the monitors. Also, I love the hockey puck, where you can switch the color modes very easily. So you can choose RGB, sRGB, and black and white mode, because it is so important when you edit the photos, so you can see the details. So I'm recommending to everybody who is starting photography, who is already a professional photographer and a hobby photographer, to have one monitor from the BenQ, because it's seriously the best. So I'm very honest every time when I speak. So lifesaver to me. So the next thing I want to say, yes, is the horses photo shoot. So the horses, I love horses. They're really, you have different colors, you have different breeds. So they're really special animals, and they are so powerful. So let's see, animal selection and concept. Why horses? Horses to me remind me like a fairy tale. So they look like they came out of a fairy tale, and like a unicorns. So to me, they're really special. They're so powerful. And most of the time when I want a powerful concept, then I choose horses, because I can choose the black horse, I can use the white horse, I can use a different breed of the horse. Like the last time I was in Germany, I don't know how this breed is called, but it's really huge, and you with so many hair, and it's like came out of the Game of Thrones or something like that. So the horses are really special, and you can bring the horses everywhere you want. Breed selection, this is what I was talking about. So you have domestic horses, and you have the wild ones, and you have like different types with the long hair. So some of the countries don't know, you have to travel to different countries to take photos of them, but domestic horses are also fine. The colors, so you have the white and the black. If you want to bring the more contrast, then you can use the black against the white background. But if you want to use the white one, then it is more like an innocent concept, everything like dreamy, fairy, but with the black one can be very dramatic. Connection and season. So if you think about the season and you want to bring horses probably in the flowers like this photo shoot, it is so important to bring the horse during the spring when you have so many flower fields and beautiful colors. When it comes to connection, this means to think about the models and how you can connect the model with the scene and with the horse. So the flowers, then some open fields with not so many people, but again, horse can be very stressful when having so many people in the set. So make sure to think about what locations can work for you. When it comes, here, I shared the photo. So here, the girl is standing on the field, and here you can see the guy who is hiding the bush of the flower. So this always works when you have a big grass and bushes. The assistants can or the owners can always hide in the bushes and peek and hold the horse. And of course, if you have the big dress, they can hide behind the dress. So I will show you in the video after. And this I was editing. So finding the right location. Check the location a few times. This is so useful information because if you when you are driving by car and then you see beautiful location, then you say, oh yeah, I will bring the horse and the model there. It will look good. But then you come to the set and see you have a big grass, you have lots of garbage there, and it doesn't work for you, and you don't have time to think about the second location. So this is why you need a couple visits before the actual photo shoot is happening. So make sure to go to the location, make sure to see everything. Maybe you see some insects there, maybe you have a big grass you can step, maybe it will be too hard for the model to go there, maybe for the horse also. So think about the snakes. During the summertime you have probably lots of insects and lots of snakes in the big grass. So this will be very, they can hurt the animal and the horse. So make sure to think and check the location before you go on the set. Which locations to avoid? Insects. This is what I was talking about, because if you find some distance locations where you have some bugs, where you have insects, because horses are most of the time very stressful when it comes to insects. If they are flying around their head, they will probably go all the way are doing this, and this will not be good for your concept and for the horse as well, because if this will be very stressful for them, and you want the animal to be calm and easy to work with. So make sure to choose some familiar locations for the horses, like the farms, like the places where they are running, maybe some open fields, and make sure to not choose like the very warm weather when it's the summer. Make sure to always choose maybe early in the morning or during the sunset, because during this time the sun isn't too warm and you can easily get the right. Difficult approach and permission. For some of the locations, you will need permission. If you see a beautiful flower field when you're driving by car and you want to take photos there, think that probably this flower field may be owned by some person. So make sure if you see some house nearby, then it's probably theirs. So make sure to go there to ask if it's possible. We won't ruin the flowers. We will bring the horse. This is what happened to me also. I was taking photos in lavender. You will see later in the video. I bring the horse to lavender field, and because when you're taking photos in lavender, spaces between the flowers, between the bushes. So here you can bring the horse, and I mentioned that to owner that I want to bring the horse. He was very excited. I want to take photos with the horse also. So this is always, you just have to tell the owner you want to take photos with a horse on their location. And yeah, you just don't bring the horse on location who somebody owns and then take photos. So it's not a good thing. So make sure to always ask for a permission. Consider the weather. This means that don't take photos when it's too sunny, when it's heavy rain, because the horse will probably be all wet, and the model. And think about this not to be too very hot. And during the winter is okay, because the horses love snow. Once I was very stressful because of this set. Once I chose the location near the farm, and it was snowing, and the owner was holding on the leash the horse, and at the one moment he take out the leash, and he was starting running, like he was acting like going go up, and the model was, oh my god, she was starting running, and myself also. I put the camera away, and this horse will kill us or something like that. So but he was very happy because of the snow, and he wanted to run on the snow, and he lay down and he was cuddling in the snow. So yeah, sometimes the action doesn't connect with you, but with the weather. So make sure to choose the weather when it's calm for the course and the model. Hiding the assistant. You will see in the videos where it is so important when it comes to location to find some bushes, to think about the big dress, where the assistant can hide, because you must have somebody who will help you on the set and holding the horse. So in this case, when they're hiding on the back behind the model, so they can easily use this with the hands. So he can direct very easily the horse. And if he's hiding in a bush, then you don't have that much job to do in a Photoshop later. So this is also a very important tip. How to work with the animal. Spending time with the horse. So horse is that type of the animal which you have to pay attention to, spend more time with them. So not like the doves. The doves are okay just to cuddle a little bit and then start taking photos. But with the horse, they're so big, they are so glorious. So you just have to spend a little time with them. Just they're very playful animals. So you just cuddle with them, then speak with them, try to pet them. So in that case, horse can know that, oh, you're a friend and you'll be very nice to me, because some of the people are very stressful, and horse and all the animals can feel that. Make sure to not be nervous, because make sure if you're nervous, make sure to just forget about at that moment and just say, yeah, everything will be okay. And because if it's okay, then the horse will be okay also. Understand its behavior. So when you're meeting the animal, make sure to always ask the owner what the behavior is, the animal and the horse. So when they get upset, when they are nervous, because most of the time when I take photos of the horse, and when the owners are telling them to go, like to jump or something like that, if they are repeating this a lot of times, then the horse can be very stressful, and it can be very difficult to them to go forward. So make sure to not repeat the poses most of the time, because it will be very stressful for them. Don't stress it. So yes, I know the whole photoshoot is already too stressful, because you have the model, you have the animal, you have their behavior. But if you're on the middle, make sure to not be, because if you stress it, then the whole photoshoot will be stressful. And for the animal, just have to, for every animal, you will see in every slide that I always say, don't stress it and be calm, because for any animal it's important to always be calm and not like make some harsh moves like, yeah, okay, because the animals will see that as they want to defend themselves. So they will understand this as a threat. So don't do that. Young horses. So it is a difference when working with young horses and the old horses. Young horses are so playful. You will see in the video the black horse. I used the Frisian horse, and he was 2 years old, and he was so playful. I couldn't make maybe 3 final photos with this horse, because he was always moving. He wanted to run, and I think most of the time when you're working with horses and you want to make some deep concept, make sure to take photos of the older horses, because they're much slower. They know the right poses. They probably the owners dress them during the time, so they know how to act. So when it comes to young horses, it is always so stressful. Okay, the next thing is model posing and communication. So consider the details. When working with horses, every detail has to be like important. So if you want, think about the horse. So what do you want to put on the horse? Do you want to put like the horns to look like the unicorn? Do you want to put a beautiful leash with crystals or some details, or the flowers? For the horses, it's okay to put like this because they love to eat flowers, they love to eat the grass. So everything is okay. Like the last time I was taking photos in Germany with a horse, and after the photo shoot, because I was taking photos in cherry blossom, and after the photo shoot, he started eating the whole tree, and we were like, no, stop, don't eat the tree. He was taking the flowers in her mouth all the time. So it is okay. When it comes to details, then think about the models. Do you want the white dress to pair with the horse? Do you want like details in the hair, like accessorize, like the crowns, or on the fingers, maybe some rings or necklace, or some powerful details? Because when you're taking photos with the horse, then you need probably a large props, because the smaller one won't be visible that much. Expect lots of repetition. Yeah. Every time when working with animals, you need a lot of repetition. This means that model can throw the dress a few times, and because horse is always moving, always. Think about one pose for each scene. So make sure to model, for example, is stand in front of the horse, and then you place the horse. That's it. So the horse can go a circle, then again. So again, go the circle. Think another pose. So you just always have to do one pose for a couple of times before the final one. One scene, one emotion. This is what I was talking about. If you have so many scenes in your head, make sure to go only one scene and only one emotion and only one pose. For example, you want a portrait with the horse, then you take portraits, then the pose, then think about, explain the owners what do you want next, explain the model what do you want next, and then the second pose, then this is in a circle how it's going. So don't rush, everything will be okay. Just go slow and it will be okay at the end. Dress will be eaten, like probably. This happens all the time when I work with horse and the deers, because they love to eat the dress. They are always hungry, like the dogs, and they think, what is this dress? I had one photo shoot where the horse was like, oh, let me eat that dress, and he was like, I have the photo behind the scenes when the whole dress in her mouth, so we took them out. So make sure maybe for the first photo shoots to choose some short dress or some easy dress which horse can eat, and don't rent the dress, because probably it will get ruined. All the time it happens, it is an animal, so think about it. When it comes to the help with the photo shoot and the horse, owner's presence always. I will always tell this with every animal, but with the horse is different, because this animal is huge. It is so big, so you just have to have somebody by your side on the set, because it isn't so easy. Hiding in flowers, bushes. So this also means for assistants and for the owners also. If you have a big bush, so you know during the summer you have a very beautiful fields with lots of bushes, lots of big grass. So make sure maybe if it's comfortable with horses and good for them, if there is no snakes or insects, make sure to bring them, because in this case the owner can lay in the grass and then can direct the horse very easily. In this case, it is also helpful for you, because most of the time you have the less time working in Photoshop after. Bring as many people as possible. On the latest photo shoot, we have help of 5 people on the set, because one girl is holding the leash, the second girl was directing the horse, the third one was brushing the hair of the horse, the final one was throwing the flowers on the set. So beside the horse help, you need also the help on your side, who can film a video for you, who can fix the dress for you, who can give you the props, who can hold the props for you. So everything has to be very clear that day and who can help. If you don't have so many help on the set, you can always ask somebody who can help you, or always have enough people of the owners who can help you with one horse. Acting is for the concept. So how do you want a horse to stay? Do you want to stay the horse still? Do you want to like jump? I don't know how to say it in English, but the one when all legs are going up. So this pose, some of the horses can do that, but this horse is so powerful, and it is so like you're going to another world with this pose. So this thing should owner tell you before you start taking photos, and it looks amazing on the set. So how you pose this horse, you have to pose the model. So you just have to think about it. Make the noise. So when you're taking photos with animals and the horses or the dogs, you just have to make some noise. Yeah, here you go. Some sounds which are familiar for the horses. Like for my dog is like food and so on. So for the horses are different. So make sure to bring that type of the noises, because in this case they will look at the camera or they will look at that direction. Because when they're hungry and we're very tired, they will probably go hands in the grass and you won't see the face. So make sure to make some noise. So now I will share a video for you with the horse. Let's see, horses. Okay, we have few horses here in this video. Yeah, this is the first one, and it is so interesting. I just want to talk more about this set because I bring the model to the location in the poppy field, and I never think of the horses before or to bring the horse on this location. And while we were taking photos on location, the white horse was passing by. No, first the people was standing there and look on the set like, oh, this is so beautiful. And at one moment they say, I have a horse. I was like, what do you have? And she said, I have a white horse. I was like, can you bring a horse to the location and to the model? And she said yes, because I never, and this was so spontaneously, and this always works. Sorry. Sometimes if you think about the concept and then somebody come to you and say, I have a white horse, I was blown away. So she and he, of course, her husband, bring a horse to the set, and yeah. I was amazed because she was wearing a white dress, white horse. I was blown away with this set. So this horse was so extra in this set. Everything was so perfect, and these poppy fields pop out with the colors, with a beautiful field, and it was near my city where I live. So here I wanted to take a wide angle shot, yeah, like this, to be like them together, and they are in flowers together. So this was spontaneously horse in the field, and here he was so confused, like he was looking, where I am, what is this red flowers, and so on. So yeah, this is young horse I was talking about. He was so playful, he was moving, and he was all the way with his head. He didn't want to stand calm. And we have the most beautiful sunset. It was so beautiful, and this is the owner's farm. This is where we were taking photos, and we have a black horse, and I used the model with a black long hair because I want to connect them together and to look like their brother and sister. A really good connection. Here you can see the girl is throwing the hair, so we have a help of one of the horse, one for the girl, so, and one who can bring the fruit, and this is the result. I really love this image. I was showing the connection between the horse and the girl, and by side. Okay, here I use the wings because the horse is very big and the wings are very big. So I want to show a really power in one image. So yeah, I love this. Amazing. So I love the wings, and you see how the flying. Okay, so the next one is also, you see how it is moving all the time. We have a really troubles, but it's okay. He's young. He was so cute, and here we have a connection between the model and the horse. So it's close. So this was interesting because I wanted to take photos when horse is going around the model, and I want to duplicate the horse afterwards. So you will see now the photo where I edited 2 horses in Photoshop, because I wanted to see one away and one going out of the photo. Yeah, so I really love this one. And I put it in black and white because I think I didn't have so many colors that day. We have a grass and black color, so the black and white work better for me in this case. Yeah, here is lavender field and the white horse, which I was talking about. I brought the horse on the location. And this lavender field is so beautiful. And I was taking photos with my muse, Vanya, and she fits to every concept. Like she can wear a bag of nothing and she will look beautiful. So, and here he was at first very confused by the flowers, but we have the owner there and his girlfriend to help us on the set. And here you can see, because I was taking the portraits, he is a little far away of the horse, and this is how he is directing the horse all the time. But he's moving, he's also a young horse, so you can see how every time he's moving, but it's okay. Okay, here I was explaining. Yeah, and here when you have a beautiful flower field and you go to the set, make sure to go very early, because probably most of the time at the sunset there are lots of people and you will have a crowd. So make sure to choose part of the day where you don't have so many people. In this case, you will have the whole field by for yourself. Here also, now the horse is standing still. He needs also time to understand what is going on the set. Okay, and see how the owner is hiding behind the model. And yeah, this was very interesting moment when the owner, where you have the owner of the horse, owner of lavender field, and my assistant is holding everything. We have 3 people on the set, and now they're hiding in the bush, and you can see them. And after I duplicated the field afterwards, so this was very interesting photo shoot. I love it. Okay, let me see what we just have to go to this slide. One more thing. Okay, so now I want to ask you one more poll with you. So what are your challenges of animal photography? Is it maybe a fear? Maybe is logistic, transportation, animal handling, or capturing, creating interesting photos? I think I know already the answer, but let me see what is your answer. Okay, okay. Oh, wow, it's because most of the people have fears, but most of the people don't know how to make everything working on the set. Sometimes it isn't easy, especially when you're working alone and where you don't know where to start. So let's see your answers. Okay, most of the percentage goes to logistic, transportation, animal handling, assistance. Yes, this is what I was talking about. So it is hard to think about all these, but make sure to start only with 1 man, 1 help, and 1 animal. So most of you say art, capturing, creating interesting photos. Okay, this is interesting. And fear, working with an unpredictable animal. Oh, thanks God, because most of you don't have a fear. So yeah, it takes time, it takes practice. Try maybe with your dogs or cat or your pets, and maybe try with few concepts you have in mind, and then go to the other animal. Because when you master with your pets, then you will go with other animal. Okay, nice. So next we have, just one moment, just to see. Okay, so we have, okay, owl photo shoot. So owls, oh, my favorite. So the owls, my dream was to take photos with owls. I was dreaming about 5 years, and when this happened, it looks like I was going to Paris or New York just to see the city. It looks like me with the owls. So why owls? Owls are so interesting animals. They look also so powerful. They look just when you use that animals you didn't see before or didn't hold before, it is so different. You know, you just have to have that feeling, and because it is so interesting. And with the owls, how I found the owl, and again, while I was going in Germany, I found on Instagram one guy who holds the whole, his whole house was full of eagles, owls, and other birds. So I was impressed how many birds he has. So this was the owl called Selenia. It is barn owl, and this was my wish to take photos. And while I wrote to him, I said, I want to come to your farm just to see the owls and meet them. So we meet each other, then I go to his house just to see the animals first. And then I was fall in love with this owl, the Selenia. This is her name. So this is why I choose her for this photo shoot. Powerful shots. Every time you use owl, it's not easy to find, but you have so many countries. You have probably in every country a person who hold the owl, falconers you can also call. And in some countries like the Germany and Russia, you can find almost in every city like this type of the owls. So every time you use the owls, you get powerful shots because they have a very strong wings, a big wings. So once they are flying, you see like the power in one shot, and they have very interesting face, and they're so amazing creatures. So every shot look amazing with the owl. Choose breed wise. You have the big owl, you have the smaller owl, you have the baby owls, you have different colors. So I don't know all the breeds, so it is also not like familiar to me, but I know this barn owl, and this was my wish to take photos of, so this is why I chose this breed. And also when it's think about connection. I found this owl first, and then I was thinking about the model, but that guy he's a falconer. So this is he recommended me the girl who is working at his team. She's also a falconer. She's very familiar with the owl. She's working there. She's cuddling all the time, all the day with the owl. So for her, and she looks like that owl. So this is a compliment, not the opposite. So she's really powerful. This is the same girl with the alpacas. And you see, I fell in love with her because she knows how to behavior with the animal. Selenia knows her, and Annie knows Selenia. So this is so important when working with any animal, to have somebody who can connect very easily with the animal. Finding the right location. When it comes to owls, I was taking photos near the farm, and this is in the forest. So avoid crowds because owls are that type of the birds where when they hear the crowds, they can hear very long distance. So when they hear crowds that is very close, they get very upset and they started to fly and they are turning their head all around. So make sure to always avoid crowds and the people close the owner's house. Most of the time, this type of the animals, like the owls, the owners has the place where some of the forests are nearby. So most of the time locations are very beautiful, and especially if you want to take portraits, you don't need the whole background, only a beautiful, like nice colors behind the model. Traveling to the location. Because I live in Serbia, we don't have these wild animals most here. So because of this photo shoot, I traveled to Germany just to take photos of Selenia and the model. And to me, this was the whole experience and the whole, I had so joy. I love owls. You see, I have a necklace, I have the cases, I have everything with owls. So sometimes you just have to travel to the location and make sure to think about your concept, because if you bring the interesting concept to your portfolio, then this will stand out of the crowd and it will attract the clients and the people who want to work with you more. So how to work with the animal? Be calm, like always. Don't force the animal, be calm. Don't be, because the other girl was a little bit too stressful with this owl and she didn't have any connection with them. She was too stressful. I see a fear in her eyes. So every time she holds it, the Selenia started flying and go upset. So make sure to always go calm. Hide the leash. So the leash the people bring on the set for the owls are so not photogenic and so big because if the owl wants to fly, she will go all the way, maybe 1 meter away. So this is a distance for her that is okay when she's on the leash. So make sure to somehow hide it. So like on this photo, she's hiding somewhere here. So make sure to use this type of the poses and always think about the leash. Poses for movement. So most of the time, when you do this to the animal, like a little bit, she flies her with her wings. So yeah, every time you want wings to be spread, then like she just loses a little bit of gravity, but it's okay to do just a few minutes, not like the 15 minutes to do like this, because it will be stressful for the animal, and you don't want to do that. You can also place the owl and then spread the wings, and the owner can do that for you, because the Annie knows how the Selenia is behave. So it is okay. So use gloves. Exceptions. So most of the time people use gloves when taking photos with owls, but in this case, because Annie holds the Selenia very, like she's cuddling with her every day, and she knows that the Selenia won't hurt her. So this is exception. So this is why I choose her, because the gloves doesn't work for me. It is not so good looking, but safety first. And if you have a falconer or somebody who can hold the owl, the bigger owl you can use with the hands because it's so big, but this one is okay. And she will probably has some scratches around her shoulder, but this is also okay. And don't put the owls close to the face because it will be too stressful for the model. Then model posing and communication, a right pose for both models. So you just have to connect the right pose and the model behavior. So you just have, if you want like connection to be very intimate, so make sure to bring all close to the faces, all the shoulder. If you want like dramatic, then put the owl on the hand and then like throw or do like this to spread the wings. Because if she spread the wings, then you can edit the photos afterwards also in the Photoshop. Model with prior animal experience. This is what I was talking about. She's a falconer. She knows how to work with the owls. She knows this owl, and it is always so important to find the people who can easily go with the animal and not the one who is meeting the animal for the first time. Meet the animal. This is like last time. It is so important to meet the animal, to know their behavior, because every animal is different. Even the chicken, even the dog and every breed is differently. So you just have to pay attention to this. Don't bring animal close to the face when moving. So because the owls have a very large and big wings, and if they spread the wings, they will probably hurt the model in the eyes or something. Make sure to always go in the different direction, or always use the hands like this to move. And if you use the owls, because they have very, I forgot the word in English, like how to scratch. So they have very sharp. So don't play with them, with the owls. So make sure to always put the hands for the gloves. Consider the time. Just pay attention to time. How much time you need to go to the forest, how much time you need to take the whole photo shoot, and how much time you need to go home. Also, don't take photos too long, because it will be also stressful for the animal. From 50 minutes to 45 minutes is okay. Everything else will be too much. And this is so important, because you just have to prepare the whole concept and what do you want with the owl before, and speak with the owner before. Think of the dress. Yeah, every time, like the doves, every time when I work with the animals, with the owls, the whole dress, because they have, again, I forgot the word, but with sharpness, they throw the dress, like they cut the dress, and also poop on the dress. So make sure to bring the towels, make sure to bring some everything you need just to take care of the water as well, just to clean the dress afterwards. Because it's when working with animals, it's always like that. When we talk about the help, it is so important to have a help on the set, of course. So bring important equipment. This means the towels, then everything you need, like for cleaning the dress, to cleaning the model's hair. Because if you put the animal on the hair or close the hair, then you need a brush also to make it the hair more beautiful for the photo shoot. Then you need the gloves for the photo shoot. Then you need all additional equipment. Owl behavior. You just you can predict how the owl will act on the photo shoot. So they are really, because they heard a really long distance, and every time they can hurt, but you can't hurt, but she can hurt here. So every time she's like moving her head and all the way around, so she's very straight, like animal. She's prepared for everything, for to catch the animal she's looking for, and she's always looking up to see if somebody's flying, just to catch them. So you just have to prepare for everything when working with owl. But there will be an owner on the set to help you. Owner is a must. This is what I was talking about. So if you want to take photos of the owl by yourself, please don't do that, because owls are very beautiful, but it's not easy working with owls. So the owner has to be present there. Attract attention, this with also what I was talking about. So throwing something away, because when owl sees something is flying, she will always look, and then maybe you can throw some bag just over the camera or over the lens, just to see how the owl will react, but not make some very big noise, because it will be maybe too much for her. Reward every time she do the right pose, every time just give her a reward, but this is a job for the owner. But maybe after every pose, make sure to always make a pose and ready for the next pose afterwards. So the final one, we have the reindeer. So the reindeer photo shoot. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I just have to play the video with the owl first. Reindeer, you will have to wait a little bit. Wait a second. Yeah, here. This is the owner. He's placing, he put the leash on the dress, stuck on the dress, and then if the Selenia is flying, then the leash is on the dress. She can go fly away. So here I am fixing the hair. Always do that. Fix the model's hair, the dress, and everything. So this is the after picture. I tied the leash, and also I removed in Photoshop. Later, this is also important. If you're not satisfied with the background, you can always crop the image. So here, Selenia heard something, the noise, and she doesn't want to look at the camera. So Annie was like, come on, oh, look at the camera. She was making the noises all the time. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, here we have, and she was spreading the hair because she was doing like this, and this time the owl is losing a little bit of gravity, and this is why he spread wings. Okay, this is on her own risk on the head, because she has really sharp legs. So don't move too much with the head when you have owl on the head. Don't do this. Yeah, this is the second model I was talking about. She's having a little bit of fear, and she wasn't familiar with the owl. So this is why you need somebody who is not like, who has more familiarity with this type of the animal. So I chose the dress white and blue, because I wanted everything to be, because the owl is white and it was a spring, so I wanted to awake like the season in them, in the dresses. And here I wanted to also make the photos of them together while they're holding the owl. At this moment, you will look, owl will stand like this. Wait, just to see. You see? Yeah, I'm now in the right pose. So we was laughing so hard when we saw this. Owl was so into the shot. I think you will. She will do again. Wait a second, just to make the right pose. Amazing. And I really love working with Selenia. I was working with her a couple of times, and she's always so calm. She's always so cute. I just love. And this is my favorite. At first, that was scary because I never worked with owls before, but after a few tries, then it was very easy. You see how she's standing? Oh my God, she's a real model. And the Mario, the owner, is holding the bags if she poops or something else, so he can easily go approach to the models. He is always prepared for everything on the set. You see how the also it's done. Okay, see here he is putting the leash on her dress. it's easy. This way the owl started flying, so it's easy to be stuck on the dress. That is why you have to have a bigger dress. Okay, Selenia was here a little bit losing the gravity, so everything's fine. And yeah, here we have a 2 owls, so it was very interesting. But the second one wasn't too into the photo shoot so much. So okay, now let's move to reindeer photo shoot. So as I mentioned before, my wish is to take photos with a reindeer, and this was the white reindeer, and to me it was very special because this is a rare color and this is a rare breed. So to me it's also was in Germany. So every animal you can find in Germany actually. So why reindeer? Deer, every animal is special, but the white reindeer, it reminds me of the Christmas. It reminds me of a season, and because of its color, it's so different. You know, the horns are so powerful, and it can be so photogenic in the photo shoot, and they are very calm animals. Like I didn't have any approaches with the reindeers before, but this one was so calm and easy to work with. Color of the reindeer, as I mentioned, we have the regular color like the brown, and we have the white one. This is a rare, but on online Instagram you can find somebody on a farm who can owns a white reindeer. So this one goes very beautiful to every concept. So dress choice and the model, because it is a reindeer, he's moving all the time. So make sure to think about what type of the dress you're using. Maybe to choose some not long dress, because your probably model will move all the time and walk. And in this type, it will be too hard with a long dress. So always go up and always hiding the legs and so on. So always think about the dress choice. So the reindeer, okay, photo shoot. So finding the right location, open fields or forest. Make sure to find locations which are too close to the farm, but not too far, because sometimes it can be too stressful for them to walk that long. They get very tired. And also close to the farm again, because most of the locations use it easily go back to the farm if they're beginning to be very stressful or something like that. Recommendations. So to me, the best ones are the forest or the open fields, because in the open fields, you can put the only reindeer and the model and you have a beautiful concept, because the whole focus is on the model and the animal. If you bring the animal and the model in the forest, then you have lots of trees, maybe the bushes, and everything will be distracting for the concept. So I recommend this type of locations. Location connected to the concept. So if you want to bring some like they are awakening and they want like emotion, they are going to another world, then you need that type of location like the open fields. If you want to show like the model is going with the animal and saying goodbye, so this is when you should choose the forest, because forest has a path in one direction and everything going away like in this path when you choose this type of location. So but make sure to choose close to the farm. Sometimes animals can travel to the locations, like the horse, he was traveling like on the special transportation. So sometimes it can be also stressful. So I don't love to do that, but if you need for the concept, you can easily choose that also. How to work with the animal, pet them all the time. So reindeers are very cute because they're very calm, and you just have to do this all the time and just pet them all the time, because in this case they know that you are friends to them. And what I love also about the reindeers are they have blue eyes, so especially this one, the white ones. So the white ones, the blue eyes, and if you choose maybe albino, it will be the mind-blowing concept because it is so special. Bring the food. So reindeers and deers working like this way. So you bring the food and you choose. You see here, she's also petting him, but this pose was okay for this scene. So make sure to always, if you put food here, make sure to always grab it with this hand and hide it with another. And then animal can do on this side, come, and it's not visible. Make sure to always hide and think how you can hide the food, or maybe lap, and then some poses like this, and then at the end give them the food because it will be horn. Young, they have smaller horns. If they are big, older, they have bigger horns. But most of them, I'm very afraid they had like big horns because this thing can hurt you if you go too close, and you just don't know how they will go with the heads all around. So make sure to choose maybe young reindeers or deer when taking photos. So model posing and communication. Work with the animal's movements. So as I mentioned, like the previous time, also because a reindeer and deer and the horse are always moving, and they are not on the leash like the horses, but they always start walking. And make sure to prepare the model and say, yeah, the reindeer will always walk. Make sure to walk with them with the pose. So if the reindeer walk, then the model should do something like this and walk, because model has to prepare always for the reindeer walk. So yeah, this is how it's going, and you need lots of repetition. One pose, one move. This is what I also mentioned. So one pose and one emotion, like before. Hide the food in hands. This is also, so you can put hide food back, then in hands, maybe put on the lap, maybe if you want portraits, maybe owners can also hold the food and then after bring the animal. If you want to attract the attention, like to look at the food, and you want some emotions like this of the animals, you can also do that. Bottom angle, I brought this because when you lay down and took photos from down, then you have the most powerful shots and most dramatic ones, because in this case you will see the legs of the horns, and the horns will look much bigger, and you will have a different perspective. So make sure to always, when you come to the location, make sure to check all angles around the model and the animal. Okay, so now it is help with the photo shoot. Familiar faces. So when you're thinking about the help, make sure to think about the owners, because when the reindeer see the familiar faces, they will feel comfortable and they will be calm on the set. Don't forget the food. Don't, because if the animals don't have food on the set, they won't listen to you, and because they're animals, they can do whatever they want. They are not forced. We just think about them, so make sure to always reward them afterwards. Forget about dogs on the set. When we come to this farm, they have dogs, but dogs are there because if they want to run away, they run them back on the farm. But on the photo shoot, make sure to don't bring the dogs, because the reindeer will start running away from the model and it can be too stressful for them. Then silence. If you have enough people, if you have so many cars are passing by, so this is also makes lots of sounds around the model and the location. So make sure to always be in silence and to speak maybe calmer, and for the animal just to be everything okay. And enjoy the process. So when you're working with animals, it is so important that to always enjoy the process. If you're stressful on the set, if you don't know what to do next, make sure to always breathe in and then say, yeah, let's start only with one thing. One thing, don't forget this word, one thing, one model, one dress, one animal. You will see after, on the second day, that you can do a lot more than only one thing. So you can bring more props, you can bring one more dress, you can bring one more model, but don't rush, because if you have enough time, this is a process, you learn through the process. Imagine that you learn everything and then, yeah, you are done with it. So every time you learn, even myself, I'm in 10 years in photography the next year. So every time I learn something new, so it is so important, and it is a process. So yeah, think about that. Now I want to show you the video with reindeer. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This was the open field, and it was so cold, but this model can't take the cold. I was, Annie, can you help? Yeah, she was like, yeah, I'm not cold. Okay. So we have the beautiful view over the mountains. The farm was on the top of the hill, so it was amazing. And you see how the deer is so calm, and how she's petting him. Okay, she's cleaning the dress, because when working with animals, the dress will be always dirty. You have to clean it afterwards, like always with every animal. So you see now he's eating from her hands. Okay, so yeah, he's always moving. As you see, he's eating the grass and so on. And you see from the down angle, bottom angle, we have a beautiful horns, and her hair is so long. It looks amazing. You see, every time you just have to connect the model with the animal, and you just have to prepare for every pose, like how the reindeer is moving, this is how the model is doing. So model has to be prepared for this, and you have to prepare the model for that. It's better to find somebody who is familiar and will love taking photos with animals. It is always working like that. Okay, so this was, I was adding a snow afterwards because it was winter, so it was a good connection with me. So here she was standing, and you see how she's moving, like he's moving his head and the model is moving. So this is model has to be always in a move. We didn't have food here, and the owners is grabbing leftovers from the food. And when working with animals, you just have always patience and to wait. Just don't rush, because everything has to be calm and have time, and always think about more time to spend when working with animals. Okay, nice. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, we are now end of this concept. So we are come by the end. So here you can see assistant is hiding in the bunch with this. So I will now call Vicente to. No, wait, Vicente. I have one more pool. Yeah, which I want to share with you guys. So which animal would you like to work with? You can answer two. You can have two answers, not only one. Is it alpacas, deer, horses, owls, or reindeer? Which one you will choose? I'm really interested to hear. Oh God, so many answers. So you can choose two answers, not only one. Oh, horses, owls. Okay, let's see. I love to work with every animal, like the chicken also. So to me, it's not important, but I would love to see your answers. Horses are nice, alpacas are nice. Every animal is different. So let's see your answers. Okay, so the most percentage go to horses. They're really graceful, they're nice. Owls, my favorite. Then deer, alpaca, and reindeer. Okay, the reindeer is the last, but okay, I'm very impressed. Lots of you would love to work with animals. Nice. And now Vicente. You can come.
Hi, Jovana. That was fantastic.
Hi.
It was fantastic to see really fantastic to see all of the work that you put into all of this. And I think what's really fascinating is for the audience to see just how much work and how much work goes into with all the assistants. I mean, you see the end results right here. You know, you see a model with a horse, and you think, okay, that's three people. You need the horse, the model, and the photographer. But you see all of the work that goes into each and every one of them, the logistics, the care that goes into it. I think it's really quite remarkable, all of the work, and it's really fascinating to see all of that process. For all of you here today, the webinar is not over yet. We're now going to go into the Q&A section. Before we do that, I wanted to quickly share something with all of you, which is that we are actually holding we just shared today this this new competition that we have. So we have here, this is the AccuColor by BenQ Instagram page. And literally just a few hours ago, we uploaded this contest, which is until the 30th of June, where people can win a PD monitor. So that's a designer monitor from Designerline, and along with other cash prizes. So this is something that you can then also take advantage of. If you enjoyed today's webinar, if you enjoyed seeing all of the different content that we have, enjoyed working with, speaking with Jovana and the webinar, we always update on all of these different events and all of these different webinars with fascinating people just like Jovana, and also contests that you're seeing here. So with that, and the last thing I'll say, because some of you were still asking, The discount code will be sent to you tomorrow along with the recording of the webinar. And with that, we'll pass it on to the Q&A.
I'm just losing, I can't hear you. Hello?
Yes, hi. So we can go now into the Q&A.
Okay. So now, let's see the questions. Okay. How long do you work with one alpaca? How many photos do you take? So Marius asks. So how long? It was taken, we started at the morning, early in the morning. So every time it is okay to start early in the morning because you want to avoid the crowds. And it takes around 1 hour with each animal. I'm talking about the 1 hour with poses, because 1 hour all the time shooting, it will be too much for one animal. So alpacas are really calm, so you can 1 hour is okay. And how many photos do you take? It really depends of the concept of the behavior of the animal, but around probably 300, 500 photos every time. And then I select maybe 30 favorites. And then from these 30 favorites, I choose 5, the final ones, because most of the time you will have the same poses, the same emotions. So when working with animals, you have more multiple the same images. So yeah, it's okay. Please, people, ask the questions you want, because I want to answer as many now. Great webinar, thank you. We will have to leave. Okay, thank you for being here and listening. What do you put in your contract in case of injury? There was no injury. We always talk about this before the shoot. Some of the models want contracts, some of the models doesn't want the contract. So most of the time it is okay to go without, because we think about each things very wisely, and because of that it is so important to bring the owners on the set, because they know behavior, they know the acting of the animal and so on. So you just have to think about that. Can I see a replay of the webinar? You will get on the email the webinar after this, so it's okay. Okay, let me see. Did you pay for rent the animals or the models? So yeah, this is also a nice question asked by let me see, Julia. So when it's your first time and when you're on a budget, and when you find somebody who owns the horse, who owns alpacas, but maybe if you're on a budget and you want to take photos with a horse, with domestic animals, you can do for free, because most of the people want to have beautiful photos of their animals and wants to have in their collection, and for you it is important to have the animal on the set. But if they're a wild animal and they are maybe in some other part of the world, like you have to travel to the location, then most of the time people are renting their animals. You just have to find this information before you go on location and on that destination. But usually prices are from 20 to 100 euros, depending on the animals. The more, like, the bigger and the unique animal is the highest price. So for the model also, every country is different, but TFP shooting you can also work. If the models love to take photos of themselves, if the photos they need for the portfolio, then it is okay to ask the model, do you want to work together with me? I will give you the photos and I will get you as a model. So it is okay to always ask if you don't have, if you're on a budget. But I think it is always nice to plan your budget and to plan how much you earn, how much you want to spend, because if you're not writing down this, then it can be very hard by following all these steps. So let's see. Where I can. What camera lens do you use for animal photography? So camera, the ones I'm using when taking photos of the people also, it is the Canon 5D Mark IV. And for the lenses, because most of the time the background isn't we choose closest to the farm. In this case, I use the portrait lenses, which have a beautiful bokeh behind and that can blurry the background. So I use from 85 millimeters to 135 millimeters lenses most of the time, because in this case, the model and the animal is in the focus and the whole background is blurry. But the 50 millimeters is also fine. If you want to, the problem with those lenses are you have to go very far away if you want to take the whole body shot. But if you want to get the closer, but the full body shot, then you need 35 millimeters, from 35 to 50 millimeters. Okay, let's see. Do you need to pay to owners to take photos of their animals? Marina, she's a Serbian. Yes, well, it really depends because every country, every owner of the animal is different. Some of them are probably just starting out and they want to rent their animal just to spread their portfolio, and they are due for free. If they are too, if they have to, like they do it professionally, they are too long in this profession, they're renting animals to photographers, to somebody else. So probably you will have to pay. But you can always ask them, if you have a large following on Instagram, you can always ask them for a permission. This is how I was doing it at the beginning, but after I paid when I was taking photos with the animals. Okay, so let's see. I have to spread this. What's more challenging, the creative aspect of photographing the animals, or I can see the whole. Let me see. Wait a second. I can. What's more challenging, the creative aspect of photography the animals or the logistic of it? The logistic always, because you have to think about the travels, you have to think about where to take photos of, you have to think about the time, you have to think about every element you have on the photo shoots, and not only creative aspect. It's only your concept you have in your head and inspiration, but it is like that type of the process you already know, but you just need time to plan it and to write down. But logistics sometimes doesn't work like you planned, so you just have to take care of all of these things. It is always challenging. Hello, Joanna, thank you for a presentation. It was amazing. Thank you so much. Do you pay people who are borrowing you? This was the third question, the most common one. Most of the time, yes, but some of the animals who are just starting out, they want to have a portfolio, or they don't have like the unique animals, they don't ask for the money, they want to have only beautiful photos for portfolio. If somebody is doing really like they have a farm, they have animals, they will give you the animals. But if they have a job by renting these animals just for photography, this will probably you will have to pay. Do you use flash or a light on animal photo shoot? No, because I use natural light. Probably the light will be very stressful for the animal to look at the light all the time, and I don't bring the lights. Maybe the backlight if you have the smaller one. How long you choose best photos after shoot with alpacas? It is a hard one. So we put the flower crown on alpaca's head after the photo shoot, and I create the portraits of alpacas, which was my favorite photo. But most of the time, because I already know in my head what I want and what type of the poses, what type of emotion, what type of composition. So usually it takes around 20 minutes to choose from 500 to 20 images. Usually too long, but at the beginning it was around 1-2 hours just to choose the right ones. How long do you sit with editing? Do you use presets? Yes, I made my own presets, which I apply as a basic, but after I do color grading a lot and making the composition. But it really depends how much the complex. If I want to make manipulation with the animal, then I will probably editing about 1-2 hours. But if I want to create only a portrait and a close-up, then I need around 20 minutes. Okay, this is in Serbian. So the best video, I have a parrot and a snake. What do I use for the photo shoot? So I use the camera, Canon 5D Mark IV, but you can use any camera you own and any lens you own. and the lenses. So you can use from 35 millimeters, you can use from 200. So it really depends which one do you have. Okay, people make sure to ask the questions because taking photos with animals are so interesting. Are you more concerned with how the animal looks or how the location looks? What's more important for you? Marcus asked. This is important. This is an interesting question. Are you more concerned with how the animal looks? To me, location doesn't matter because I have very amazing animals in front of me, and I always connect the location, the animal with the location. So this is why I choose the lens, especially when I travel. If I know that I will travel to Germany and I don't have enough time just to scout some of the locations, and I don't know what I can expect on that on the shooting day, it is always like that when I travel. So I usually bring the portrait lenses with me because in that case I can take the portraits and the close-ups. But location sometimes is it important if you want to connect location with a scene. For example, if you want to create Alice in Wonderland and you want to use rabbits in your photo shoot, then you probably need location which one can fit to the concept. Like you can put the clock, you can put the tables, you can put the mugs behind the model. So everything has to be connected in the concept. This is a nice question, interesting. But which animal was most difficult to work with? This is also an interesting question. So, the ones I worked with, probably deer, because you can't put them on a leash. They are free animals. You just can't prepare. You go, like the location I was talking about, I go to that village and I have the amazing deer around us, and where the deer are standing, then we go there, and then the deer is moving, then we go there. So once I place the model, the deer is moving, go away. So then again, so it was very challenging. We spent the whole day only to take photos of 3. We have only 3 photos that day. So it was very hard because you know, they are not on the leash, they are free, they walk and run free there, and they are not on the farm. So you just have to prepare that, put the model wherever the deer are standing. Can you also say how you search the animal owner on Instagram? Do you use any hashtags? For example, if I want to travel to Germany, then I track down photographers from Germany who take photos of the animals. In every country, you have photographers who are working with animals, and especially in Russia, they have so many animal photographers, and they always tag the persons who are renting the animals, and this is most of the time how I found them. But if you follow animal photographers, then probably in a search, explore bar, you will appear more photos from the people who are renting the animals. So sometimes you can also write down and explore, like search animals renting in Germany or animals or something like that, animal photography. You can type that. Do you have some tips for cleaning the clothing of models and models? Yes. At the beginning, I was washing these materials, but sometimes it was very dry, especially if there is a mud outside and too dirty, which I can't clean by myself. And this is when I take the dress to the dry cleaning, to the professionals who are cleaning, and most of the time I do this way. But if I use any other material, then I just wash out. But it really depends where you take photos and of which animal. This is so important because in that case, make sure to know what type of material you're using. I love your work and you follow like 5 years. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Can you send me the profile of man from Germany? Okay, I will send you. Just write me on Instagram, please. Do you also flash with animals? No, because probably the animal will be scared of the lights and the flash. So I use natural light. I don't like to work with flash that much because I don't know. I love natural light. I love to play with shadows, and artificial light I only use when I work inside, when I don't have enough light. And in this case, it is a continuous light. I followed you for a long time and I finally have a camera. I'm so happy for you and you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you much for the webinar. It was really informative. Thank you so much. Dream animal to work with. Yeah, this is my favorite question. It was owl, but at the moment I didn't take it is my wish to take photos with a fox and with a bear. So we have a bear nearby here in Serbia. I'm still a little bit afraid, but I heard that this bear is totally fine. He was petting him while he was a baby. So yeah, I need a little bit more time just to calm down. And also it is the tiger. It's my wish. So I love tigers. They're so powerful, but we don't have, and I don't know where to find the tigers. Just it's not that easy because they're really unique. But the foxes, I love them. I can pair with a fall and with a ginger hair and a dress. Okay, so the next one, do you own most of the dresses you use in the photo shoots? Yes, the designers made the dress for me, or I sewed the dress. So I find inspirational dress on Pinterest, or I have in mind, so I buy the material and then go to the professional sewer who will sew the dress for me. Most of the time I do this because, you know, this is my dress. If I rent for my projects from somebody else, from a brand, probably it will get very dirty. Maybe I will ruin the dress or the animal. So it will be very stressful for me. If I take photos for the campaign of the brand, they will familiar with that, so they will know this. But if this is for my personal project, then I will use some easy material. I will buy in a store, or I will assume for this special occasion. Thank you so much for this interesting webinar. Thank you. Okay, so do you have any more questions? If no, I think we answered all of them. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for everyone for coming. It was really such a fantastic experience, and even for myself, who's watching this as someone who helped to organize, it's always so interesting to see all of the detail and all the work that goes into it. So with that, I want to say thank you to everyone for coming. We're really looking forward to seeing you at future webinars, at future events. And the follow-up email will have all of the information regarding the code and today's recording. Give Jovana a follow if you're not doing that yet. Follow us also on Instagram, on Facebook to keep up to date on everything we're doing. And with that,
I also want to thank you, everybody who attended this webinar, and everybody who was very amazed by it. Thank you so much, and thank you, BenQ, for hosting this webinar.
Always a pleasure. Have a great evening then.
Bye-bye. You too. Bye.
Hi, I'm surreal. I was in the research field which focused on LCD and OLED technology. So after joining the BenQ, I found that I can more close to the user to listen what they need. When start this journey, the most thing is that how to help them to focus on what they want to do, the creative process. We think for those creatives like designer, photographer, they should focus on the creative process. For example, they should pay their energy on what they love, to take a photo of creative new things to the world and not worry about if their monitor can provide the good color performance for them. It's just waste their time and creative energy. Since BenQ already make the good monitor many years, we start to build the AQ color monitor, and we need to co-work with different function teams. We may work with user research team to collect the idea and they transfer it to the product feature. Then we take this prototype to the professionals. And as then if it meet your demands, back forth many times, and finally, we can fine-tune the good features for them to solve their problem. And also, our color expert fine-tune every monitor to make sure every model have the precise color which meet the professional's demands. We listen, hear what they need, and discuss with them, then transfer it to the product itself. So for this year's working for the AQ color monitor, if you want to climb the mountain, there's no shortcut to the top. You need to take your time step by step, then finally you can achieve the top of the mountain, same as us. So this is why we can achieve the goal and have market position at these years.